A lot of people ask me, why use social media? I don't get it. We're not going to get anything from it. Because in the morning with the email, that comes from WBLS. Then they go and see on their Facebook page something from WBLS. They see something from Twitter. I want the moment they get into the car, when we have that 1.5 seconds and Twitter made a deal, they're like, oh, you know what, I saw some stuff on WBLS. It keeps the brand top of mind. Use digital and social media to keep your brands top of mind, allowing people to interact with you on a regular basis.
I think it's important for me to be at CRS because we have so much experience with radio stations. We're not, from a brand. We're not from, an area that maybe doesn't interact with radio. Radio is very different, or media companies are very different from brands and how they engage with their audiences, because their audiences love the brand, and I think that's the most important, and their legacies. Yes, there's some legacy, consumer brands, but overall, radio has a different relationship from a branding standpoint, and that's why when we come and talk about it, we actually have experience. We have data. We have best practices, and I think that's the most important thing, is that social needs to be done for radio specifically, and it's becoming that focused.
Here's the big idea. I was sitting beside someone a minute ago, seeing their social media execution plan. She was sitting beside me making notes, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I talked with someone yesterday, and they said, you know what? We're thinking of hiring a social media person, and we're going to get them in, and they're going to be a community manager. I'm here to tell you that we don't believe in community managers, and we don't believe in social media people. We're in the media business. Everyone in your organization needs to know about social media, and they need to start now. Right? And this is what we look at. We train the on-air staff first. Why? Because that's where you spend most of your money. They're the people that understand your brand better than anybody else. A 25-year-old coming out of experienced radio, you would never put them in front of the mic. You would never let them do your morning show. Well, maybe you would, but in most cases, a 21-year-old, you wouldn't do that. So why do you give them your social media?
The one thing radio needs to take away from CRS, but also from my keynote, is that digital needs to be a priority, but it's still not necessarily going to create a lot of money or monetize or revenue. And I think that that's important, that the time is to experiment now, and the time is to play around with the platforms is now. But it is something that everyone needs to be in and trying out. And I think hopefully that came across in my keynote, that it's about playing, it's about trying things, it's about testing.
I want to stop right here and pause and say that you should never, this is Gavin's opinion, use social media or digital media to market your radio station, to sell something. Give them something that's interesting to them. Give them something I can use. I get 250 emails every 4 hours. Half of them are spam, right? Or they're things, people trying to sell me stuff. What does it do? It denigrates the brand. I don't even want to talk to that person again. It makes me upset and frustrated. You know this about your audience, but yet we just fall back to say, because maybe your CEO says, we need email, and you're like, okay, just keep sending out spam, and we're doing it. Here's the open rates. No, every time you connect with your audience in the social media and the email world, it had better be important.
Well, I think the most important thing is just understanding the role that social can have for a radio station. Particularly for a country radio station with such a niche market, it's really important to connect with the audience, and you can get so much data from the audience on a regular basis in terms of what they want and what they like. And I think that's what I tried to do in the keynote, is to help people understand what are the key things they need to focus on right now as an executive that are really going to deliver results.